Okay. Scratch that, we are doing this game. We looked far enough, and we have discovered a treasure. Other teams are gonna be definitely wrong. They're just gonna be distributing Tunison and Moscow in here. Otherwise, everybody is gonna be going to some appropriate place. So that's something that is a lot more like what we were casting for years and years on Wooble, the classic community games. All kinds of funny names here. Nino, Love BR, Mosca, and the other team is gonna be Metalo, Tunison, and Jack Frost. From what I have seen, nobody and none of them are currently streaming, right? Yeah, none of them are even doing POV. For example, Metalo is having stream, and he used to be streaming fairly common. Nino is having stream, of course, Tunison, Mosca. It's a bit odd, kind of. There are plenty of good players in Age of Mythology, but not many of them are ever having any kind of tendency to stream. I'm thinking that typically the Brazilians could have been having quite an easy audience. Latin Americans do hold with each other pretty well. So if they streamed regularly, they probably could be doing something with that and have some kind of nice channel. But well, that's of course, if they don't want to, well, nobody can be forcing them. And well, let's therefore have a look onto probably the last game for today, but we're gonna be going out with a bang, it looks like. So Metalo will be playing with Thor. Wow, it's a triple Thor, by the way. Jesus, man. What is that supposed to be? I mean, like, they were playing random teams, so they probably didn't entirely know they're gonna be having this. But funny stuff. Back Goldmine currently for Metalo. He should be going for the Dwarven Armory build. He's in the pocket, so no reason not to. You can see right now the right flank, same situation here for Tunison. By the way, all of them can bomb the Brega, the Brazilian one. And Jack Frost on the left side, he is gonna be therefore playing absolutely same. All three are gonna be going for the same build order. Will be interesting to see the execution therefore, if they're gonna be also all advancing the same time, or if there are gonna be differences. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Metalo would want to be pushing it above 5 minutes even as a pocket. Thinking it might be some kind of reasoning for that, and also interested if he's gonna be trying to get second and even third TC. Maybe. No, and against them it's gonna be therefore Love BR playing with Ra. Having some nice old schooly picture. Easy gold mine in here for him. And Monument, no. The most ideal again. Best, of course, are always next to the TC. But he's gonna be still reaching towards the berries. Unfortunately not gonna be able to take care of the hunt. Even though that one can be lured actually close to the TC. Because they seem to be this way. So they're gonna be able to go pretty close to the TC before turning back. So I guess you don't need granary on those. Temple, fine. Oh, he's not empowering actually the monument though. Okay. Okay, that's a problemo. I mean, like, he's preferring... I mean, like, is it really that much of an advantage here? 4% extra on, right now, the hunt, instead of going for all the extra bonuses. Faster temple, more on gold. I don't know. I'm kinda not entirely wanting to criticize that, if that was alright, and how it's done in the build order, but it feels like it's maybe not necessary. But maybe some of you know. Maybe some of you are playing Ara. But it seems suboptimal. Let's put it that way. But whatever the case, seems like he's gonna be carrying and covering most of the important spots, so at moment it's gonna be probably alright. Into the pocket, we're gonna be having therefore Nino, and he's playing with Amaterasu. What is going on with Amaterasu? Have people just gonna gone back to her somehow? Somebody discovered that she's good again? Again, she wasn't played for months, and now, today, we are just having Amaterasu all around. Huh. Well, seems like she's back in fashion, probably. Path into the pocket, easy gold mine. Now we can just gonna imagine that's gonna be second TC for sure, and who knows what else. And all the way to the right wing, that will be yet another Thor. We have 4 Thors, and he is gonna be, or rather, that's gonna be Mosca, playing apparently also with the armory. Same stuff all around. So, advances. We are going to be, for the bottom team, already through, actually fairly, not quickly. 4:30 is not quick. But, no, Metal is of course going greedy. That's kind of what we expected. 5:30. So we guessed correctly, he might be going for a slower build, even slower build rather, to be precise. But Red is kinda not quick. I'm working on the wall already. I'm kinda curious actually what would be like the best course of action here. Like having one of the Thors going super greedy, or like all of them going bit greedy. I don't know. Because theoretically, if you're gonna be having at least one player who is gonna be kinda cozy and unleashing the Mega Thor, kinda like the bit old school a year ago when there was the team tournament on Retold. I remember that was the time of 2TC Thor into Ulfsarks. So maybe that's gonna be a callback to that at this point from Metal, who knows. Second TC of course in the middle from Nino. No, to be expected. Stable guardhouse. No dojo, by the way. No dojo. For Nino. And cavalry here for Mosca. All the way upwards for Tunisono. So far not entirely showing anything else. Yeah, he was just gonna... That was kinda nice. I was going to say that if he's maybe forgetting about the Kamaitachi, but nah, he was not trolling. Just waiting for the correct moment. Hoping that maybe he's gonna be able to kill the Valkyrie even in there. But Tonison is having none of that. Fox dead game. Nicely played. And whew, 3 hit points. No, yellow is gonna be able to heal him though here. Yeah. Well played. That kind of reminds me, as we see right now, the second TC from Love BR. If there were some kind of changes in, like the team game cooperation within the between the players, if you can be getting the resources to your teammates TC and they're gonna be going into your account. I have like never actually even seen that yet. I haven't seen entirely that many team games, at least not lately. And there are some very specific situations that are not commonly known. And that could be actually really useful in team games in certain situations. Maybe something worth testing. Maybe in the editor or something. But well, I guess you're gonna be seeing all kinds of fun stuff here. Anyway, so raiding coming through here for Jack Frost. He's gonna be apparently cavalry based. I'm thinking it might be actually all the Thors therefore. I mean, like obviously that's gonna be all Valkyries. I wonder if maybe the triple forest fire is gonna be something to do. Theoretically, they can be even a bit trolly with the mines. They can be trying to trap some villages or some enemy army somewhere with them if they want to be playing it that way. But it's of course a bit more easier to do with Kaya Forest, but with the gold mines you can theoretically play such nonsense too. You would have to be rather well coordinated, but I guess it's not impossible. Eye of Ornlu. Another relic is gonna be Feather of Bifunk. Then we do have 9 cauldrons. Shingles. What is there left? Head of Orpheus. That's nice, especially for the obelisks. And the Isis here, or rather, Belt of Argus. That's of course great for any kind of units, especially for the cavalry, because they are half blindos. They don't really see too far away. You can see right now that's their vision, and if you're gonna be giving them +6, then that's practically almost like doubling the vision they have now. Yep, it is a pretty big difference. So don't underestimate Belt of Argus. But we're gonna be there right now ready for some kind of bigger engagement or not? No, apparently not entirely so much. Metal is gonna be having to run away. He, by the way, has gone interestingly without the second TC. So he was going for 530 advance and no town center. What an odd combination of orders. So therefore he went for a strong economy, but at the same time not like... I mean, like, if you're gonna be having the classic 440 advance, you have already strong enough eco, right? I'm trying to, like, think about what kind of bonus you get from those few extra villages there. I mean, like, sure, you're gonna be having a bit more reliable eco, theoretically faster heroic age from that. If that's maybe the aim, is it? Not really. What is the army for him? 50 army. Red is gonna be at 50 as well, so you can see there's really not much of a difference. I'm not... I don't know. There's gonna be some logic behind it. I mean, like, Metal is an experienced player. He's not doing it for just like fun. He's gonna be knowing why he's doing it. I'm just not maybe right now realizing something here. And thinking about it in way too normal way. I can see in general, double the army for the top team, understandably. And the bottom one is gonna be, for the villages rather, the bottom score. That's gonna be a bit better for Love, Nino and Mosca, because of course they have the 2 second TCs in there. And now that's gonna be Metal getting his own, and you can see how long it's gonna be taking to actually even get through the damn forest. Oh man. And even the graphics are broken, right? Yeah, the forest weren't actually on fire. Maybe he has gotten through a bit faster because some damage against the wall, I guess, from the forest fire. But yeah, this really, the quickness of the god power is kinda sad. The original game was a lot better on that. I really still do not understand why they made this change on Retold. I would be loving to actually see the reasoning. Why they made the god powers so long to actually take effect. Like practically all of them. All of them are having longer wind-ups than they had in the original. I never understood why. Because it makes absolutely no sense from the gameplay perspective to me. It has to be something that maybe some people on Reddit complained about, that they don't have time to react to them, that before they get to the spot, but like... get good. I guess probably the answer to that. Because like, not like it's too hard. But I guess it's the direction of the game development that we have, unfortunately, today. Making everything for... well, even the worst players. And I guess maybe they just kinda thought they're gonna be getting the sales from that. But again, doing this with a strategy game is just like always feeling completely weird to me. Like, why would you be wanting to make a strategy game easy? Since when are gonna be stupid people playing strategy games? And if you're gonna be playing and working under the assumption that strategy games are played by smarter people, and people that want to be kind of testing themselves, that kind of goes hand in hand, those things, why would you be necessarily wanting to be making it absolutely dumb simple? Sure, some quality of life changes, of course, but making the game completely dumber, like, I don't know, it just kind of doesn't fit to me, to that type of game. But maybe I'm just kind of thinking too deep about it, I don't know, unnecessarily. Could be, just a random thought. But whatever the case, you're gonna be therefore leaving 2 Thors so far, the ones to the right, on the classical age. You can see right now it's not gonna be lasting too long, as both of them are already getting into heroic age. This is really just, this is always so fun, when you for example switch between the classic community games that we have seen, like the 1500 games, and then you're gonna be seeing a top level game, like this one, where the players are just like following the timings, and they're not gonna be very likely to miss their heroic age timings or mythical age timings. Especially the heroic age timing is important, and they're usually not gonna be missing that. It's one of the important pieces for anybody wanting to get better in the game to really learn. Can't really stress enough that Age of Mythology is a game of timings, and if there's something to be taken from high level games, it's usually in what kind of way they are getting the next ages. It's something that maybe it's kind of hard to realize if you don't entirely understand the game, but it is really one of the important pieces. And where the military auto-queue in the original game was kind of like the biggest enemy of the noob players. So the noobs, sure, I'm gonna be having something to make an army for me, but at the same time, it's actually gonna be significantly lowering your chances on improvement in the game if you don't want to be thinking about what it actually even takes from you. Because of course, to be hitting the timings, you need to be able to stop making army at correct times, and that's a whole lot harder right now to appreciate and do properly. That's of course where the experience comes through, and that's where the experts shine. Because they do know these moments, they know where they can afford not to make army and kind of run around the opponent a bit. No, but yeah, that's why the experts right, and that's where you need to be getting even if you are a new player. Noka, so far quite an active game all around. Blue is... oh, I guess maybe I just kind of wasn't noticing a bit more activity on the left side, because unfortunately the vine color here is very similar to animals on the minimap, so maybe there was more activity and I just kind of didn't properly see it through the corner of my eye. So, sorry maybe to Jack Frost and Love if they were having some further engagements, but looking at the hit points, probably wasn't too much going on. We're a bit careful in there. Okay, economical upgrades. Who are we even clicked into? Tony's son. Okay, so Tunison getting eco-ups. I guess you can be right now clicking through the players. Some Petsuchos and Migdol units here for Ra. No, red is getting all kinds of stuff. Nothing for yellow. Nothing for green. Teal is nothing. Okay, so aha. So nobody is getting too many upgrades in here. I'm just gonna maybe curious about some possibility of a mythical age. Let's click through that again. They're having some resources, but not entirely some super high amount of them. Any of them. Yeah, there's no mythical age outlook. Some close one for anybody, pretty much. Okay, let's maybe have a look into the middle. This is gonna be probably handled for teal in there a bit. But nonetheless, all the way into the mid, seems like we're gonna be having some bigger engagement coming down, or having between the players. You can see right now the population limits are pretty much the same between them. A little difference is 10 villages, difference is insignificant. Same as right now, 18 between the armies. As we do have flame weapons still prepared, ×2. Then we do have some Scuddy. It's an interesting right now combination, right? We have one counterplay with Frost in there from Teal, from Mosca. And therefore the top players, the top team, are having double flame weapons and they're gonna be having one Frost. I'm entirely certain they really need it. I'm thinking that might have been advancing in case there's going to be flame weapons and there are gonna be flame weapons from Mosca. So that they could be blocking those. Because otherwise the Frost, I don't know, I'm just gonna think flame weapons are just straight better. Sure, Scuddy does have very nice economical upgrades, the Winter Harvest is cool. And potentially upgrade into Throwing Axemen in certain scenarios as well. Balder! Hey! Oh! Oh! Could we be getting... Oh, if we could be getting triple Balder, I'm just gonna slightly afraid that my computer would burn though at that point. But I would be still liking to see triple Ragnarok. By the way, in case you haven't seen too many occasions of that yourselves, then if you would be having like triple Ragnarok in the late game with proper population limit like 100 about, even in the original game, you will be having quite heavy lags as well. And that wasn't because of computer, that was because the engine couldn't handle so many things. And so many graphical effects that they have on them. So you could be having supercomputer and it would still be lagging. So... I'm kinda hoping that this engine is gonna be a bit better, but it does have some different drawbacks, especially for my old CPU. Can't say it now, the FPS, it's mostly because of CPU, no? Because some physics of whatever kind of like moving leaves and boughs and whatnot, that's apparently computed, I guess, through some physics engine through CPU. Because my graphics is absolutely much better than this game needs, 4070 Super. Well, Retold probably burned my old one last year. So, oh, actually a year and a half ago already. So, that was a bit of a fun complication back then. But otherwise, well, my computer still isn't the newest. Double bronze copper. Can say now the Japanese is gonna be double copper and bronze. Plenty of Yaris Spearman. He's gonna be quite a bit immobile here, the Amaterasu. It's not entirely too ideal for him. He's gonna be having to play tactically with his teammates. But it seems like right now Metal is also switched into the infantry, so I guess it's gonna be fit in. So therefore the pockets are gonna be a bit more, I don't want to say static necessarily, but they simply aren't going to be as mobile. And they're gonna be therefore joined by their teammates a bit. However, well, man, there's an army by Metal right there. There's a pretty huge army for Metal. Now they do have right now 70 more population or 60 more population limit than the opponents. It looks like they should be. Well then, so no triple Ragnarok, but Fimbulwinter is coming. We're gonna be getting all kinds of wolfies. Seems like we are having at least some idle villages from Moscow. Plenty idle villages apparently also from Love, and it looks like that we don't have anything too much for green. One spawn here to the right, but otherwise he can be working in the middle, no problemo. Shame is that he doesn't have too many farms. He was having the farms rather here to the right on the TC that got attacked. That's unlucky. Unlucky, no. No, and the top team is gonna be there for having a success through that with yet another with Fimbulwinter. We haven't cast the Ragnarok yet, by the way, for Jack Frost. Okay, that's a bit of a help in there. Again, well, yellow is yet again not getting spawned onto the main TC. Basically, they spawned onto the same ones, it looks to me. Hey. No, that's a dangerous choke point. You can say it now. Most of the trade is going through here. That's gonna hurt long term. If the game is gonna be longer. No, and all the way on the left side. Oh, well. Somebody got frozen shot completely. And that's gonna be right now a great opportunity to take down the Migdals, of course, instead of dealing with the army. Exactamente. Screw those. Get into the second Migdal. You have still 25 seconds of the enemy not moving. As the whole army that he currently has. By the way, can you actually, if you are very quick, can you garrison units away from Frost on Retold? Because in the original game I'm fairly certain you can't. Because, again, the onset of the god power is really quick. Whereas here, I'm not sure how it is with Frost. If it's having some kind of like blocking at the start, so that you cannot run away. No, I don't think wouldn't be thinking that's necessarily the case. I wonder if you can be very quickly garrisoning. If you're gonna be just gonna looking at that and very quick about it. But sure. Just some kind of random maybe motivation or inspiration for later. But looks like that we're gonna be at this point not having entirely too much of a good luck here for Jack Frost. And considering he has lost the army currently, he's having 90 population limit, 70 on the army. Champion Camel Raiders, all bronze, by the way. He's gonna be having heavy cavalry with double bronze and iron. Getting close to Ragnarok, probably. No, but the right side is certainly looking like broken into. There is already gonna be front TC away from Moscow. Tunison and Metal right now quite a bit camped here. Champion throwing Axeman. Oh, it's kinda cool how it's all almost like goldy, right? And the bronze is so weird. Why is actually bronze actually so shiny? Because bronze is kind of darker than this. Shouldn't be entirely as goldy as it is. Great Jarls are gonna be having the bronze there. And you can say it now, some throwing axemen from red. That will be already the last levels. He's fully upgraded at this point. Yep, looks like your team may be right now nearing the end of the game here, because the right side seems to be at this point quite a bit decided. Yep, Moscow is getting completely and utterly eliminated and annihilated, and it doesn't seem like that green is able to really help with anything significant in here. You can see right now it's getting actually broken into as well. And overall, 340, 150 overall population limit more on the military. And on the villages, that's somewhat of a manageable difference, but that doesn't matter all that much. So now we're just waiting if you're gonna be seeing there for the Ragnarok from the Thor on the left side. Maybe he's gonna be there for getting to enjoy something against the Ege. And hey, Moscow getting at least the Fimbulwinter here. Oh, unfortunately, that's not gonna be too much of a game changer. And what I'm absolutely loving here, this is the 20-minute game, and we are having trade for all the players and both teams. That is absolutely great. Can't say it now, you see the high level and that they are used to it, that they haven't really lost their touch with when the trade is needing to be coming into the gameplay. Now only wish if only 1v1s were including that a bit better. I'm thinking that the 1v1s are still a bit underdeveloped on that front. As you mentioned multiple times, you just gonna do recognize what is the reasoning and why people are doing that. Because there is just like high amount of population limits, so therefore you are spending plenty of resources and you can't be entirely affording the caravans, because they are kind of expensive at that same moment in the mid game, but like 15 minutes plus. But I'm really thinking there needs to be a bit more of a focused effort on that, because there are just like so many games that get decided by players not having the trade, that it's kind of odd that nobody is thinking about how to introduce it properly into the game, because there has to be an optimal way how to do it. Different most probably than the original game, or definitely different than the original game, but nobody seems to be putting any kind of thought into it. So Flaming Weapon Arrows here from Tunison, having some good fun, obviously complete another execution of anything standing in his way. Yes, all the way on the left side we have a Tornado to have a bit of fun with the enemy infantryman, as it seems like Jack Frost is not gonna be getting to use his Ragnarok, unfortunately, because Nino Mosca already gone, and now it's gonna be only Love here on the left side, trying his hand against Jack Frost. Okay, some decent damage at the end here. And that's gonna be what he enjoyed the most, I guess, of the game. And that's gonna be a GG and banger of a team game here that we had at the end of the session. Pretty good. Pretty good. This was almost like the olden times. Yeah, well, Brazilian boys here. Okay, so let's therefore have a look on some statistics. Carrier pigeons at the end. A Hydrecker device from Jack Frost. Double bronze and copper. Oh, sorry, iron. Rather the last one. Heavy charioteers with double iron and copper. It was a pretty good fight here on the left side. Jack Frost and Love BR evidently. Neo in the middle, all bronzed. Yellow was all ironed already. On top of it, even Hermes winged sandals for the heroes. Plus 5% on the Spedo. Now, of course, the special upgrades here. And some kind of last unit for Mosca. Heavy cavalry with bronze. And let's maybe see the village upgrades there for the end too. Again, not entirely certain if he maybe didn't think of it, or it was pretty quick how they were actually going through them. So again, they come back through the town centers or from the village centers rather than town centers. Possibility, but I don't think they realistically had time for it here. So it was a fairly thorough and strong breakthrough. So he wasn't really having too much of an extra time to do anything about it. All economical ups. Same situation for red. And we'll be surprised if somebody is missing anything. Can see even Winter Harvest in there. What was he having? Black Lotus, yes. Nothing for wood at all. Not even a hand axe, really. No, well. How many villages he had on wood, maybe? 24. No, that would have been there for making for a bit of a difference for sure. That's something that can happen to especially Egyptians because they don't tend to be having that many villages. Then they switch in Heroic Age because they need for the siege towers and potentially the chariots. But sometimes they forget the upgrade line as well. Can't say it now. Very missing, and I'm thinking that's it. Somebody having some high float at the end. Maybe a bit higher for red, but he was already been significantly to the right, so I guess he was having limited losses. So that's somewhat understandable. Nothing there. Amaterasu, bit of wood. Same situation here for teal. And not a lot of gold here for wine on the left side, but he will be needing it. If he will be casting the Ragnarok, then that gold would be coming in pretty handy. So that's all right for him. Plenty of Thors, and seems like it's gonna be red and yellow, collecting most of the prizes. Interestingly, most deaths, even for the victor here. But quite an interesting game with even the same gods on like one side. Didn't really seem too broken, but frankly it also didn't seem that they were having any kind of like super specific abuse strategy. That they were just gonna play in normal game, they didn't have any kind of try hard. Can certainly imagine more try hard strategies done by them, as you mentioned. Metallo in the middle could have been going 2 TC and through Ulf Sarks, maybe even 3 TC build again. Could have been play. And team game tournament maybe would have been different. But for the idols, maybe a bit blue here at the end, but not entirely anything bad early. Yellow seems to be kind of prominent here a bit. Metallo. Kind of. Jack Frost, okay. Mosca, kind of comparably, also having plenty spikes around, but kind of thin ones, so not too bad. Nino, definitely high ones. It was a decent length game, so these kind of longer ones, it's 15 villages for 20 seconds. Sorry, decent amount of res as well, gone because of it, so not to underestimate, but obviously it's also a high level game, and there were tons of raidings by cavalry. So, understandably, we're gonna be having those all around. Tunison, no, yeah. Top team is gonna be, of course, having lower ones. Understandably, because they were more active. Just Metallo here. Maybe a bit too focused on the fighting here and there. But let's put everybody back in. Civilians. What kind of difference is here at the start? But otherwise... No, it kind of depends who was having second TC and who wasn't. Can say now best boom apparently by Tunison by kind of difference. Quite some margin above the others. Moscow wasn't. Second TC only later. The wine color having some problem. 57 dropping about 4 or 5 villages about here, probably 4. No, and quite an issue here for green. Nino, 100 villagers dropping about 25 plus. Damn, and that was about the Fimbul Winters, right? Yeah. Looks like the Fimbul Winters did a number on him. Water village is gone. Through those, that doesn't obviously help too much. Oh no, military first. So what do we have here? Blue, of course, taking the low part because, well, classic Egyptian, even though the heroic age, for example, was from a bit later here. So, considering he was having like barely any kind of units for such a long time, maybe he was risking a bit. That's a late one, 1050. Huh. Guess maybe Jack Frost gave him a bit of time there. And the nosedive for Nino here, and never was managing to get back from that position. Obviously, this is going to be, again, population limit-wise closer to enemies, because you'll be having some higher pop limit Naginatas, and I think maybe even some samurai. He was Hachiman, right? Yeah, he was a Shogun there. And if you even missed his god power. But again, if you can't properly see the god powers on the minimap on Retold, then sure we're gonna be missing some. Flaming weapons, Dwarven Mine, and Fimbul Winter. What a sequence of mythical god powers here from Metallo. If you're gonna be going into teams, no. Yeah, the Mythical Ages basically just decided it all. They were way better prepared for that, and the breakthrough to the right was fairly convincing. No, and all resources collected. That's gonna be, it should be actually somewhat similar, I'll be expecting, between most of the Thors. Can say now there's gonna be Metallo on kind of like the highest level. I'm entirely certain. Miyagi was advancing the 5.5 minutes, so maybe he was getting there for more. Fortunately, we can't be zooming in, but he seems to be kind of like on the highest level here slightly. So I guess he was probably getting like more, like 1 or 2 more economical upgrades from the armory. And that's why he's gonna be slightly above the others. Of course, Rai is gonna be on the other end of the spectrum, as it should be. Now already difference, 2,000 resources almost. At 8 minutes, 2,000 resources more is a bit extreme. But yes, Thor is powerful if he does have time to be dropping the extra dwarves. Really, 2,000 resources is a lot here. This early against the Eggy. Especially when you potentially have the extra empowerment from Love. But nonetheless, I'm not entirely certain if Love was even switching into monument empowerment after. We have seen at the start he was directly going for the granary, so not sure. Because that really does help. If you're gonna be empowering like most of your early economy, you are getting a lot closer to the others regarding resources gathered and the normal circumstances. 3,000 resources difference here between Love and Tunison right now taking over strongly. He wasn't even first with the second TC, but guess that was the third one as the first one. That's gonna be making for the difference here, and that's where, yep, that's where he's starting to peel off a bit faster than the others. And that's kind of the difference maker. Now, and I can see right now, for example, that was the right side, right? Here at 19 minutes, around the Mythical Ages, it wasn't only about the Mythical Ages, but simply like the whole progress of the game. 26,000 against 39. So basically half extra economy for Tunison than for Moscow. So there was absolutely no chance that Moscow was going to be able to withstand that pressure. Might have been maybe able to block off one attack, but the others, absolutely no chance for him, right? It's absolutely clearly evident here. If you're gonna be maybe even going for the team's economy. It's actually interesting you're not showing that much of a huge... Aha, because it's showing the same graph, but the differences are going to be in the numbers. Yeah, so it's gonna be different scale. Okay. No, 20,000 difference in here. Quarter extra economy for the top team. No, and near the end, again 20,000 more, almost 19,400. And on the left side, that was therefore blue and wine. So therefore also 12,400 more. Again, should be getting a bit closer now, the Egyptian. But it depends if he's gonna be starting the trade. In the original game he would be, so he'll be getting closer. But here on Retold, it's a bit kinda delayed. Even though this was one of the better examples of games where people are starting trade in time, not to be taken off guard somewhere later by missing potential gold mines for them. Tunison, of course, best fights, so therefore massive amount of favor. 220, you can see 300 for the Japanese. Oh, well, he wasn't having too many monuments left, right? He was probably still at only 2. Yeah. Again, still kind of holding it. Egyptians still haven't learned that they need to be getting the monuments a bit earlier and a bit more commonly. Because there's almost always going to be some good use case on Retold for the favor that you get extra. So it should be a bit more readily available to have those. Either some nice myth units, like for example the Petsuchi, or something in the mythical age, or multiple of some god power could be always useful. Yes, you have always something to use. Largest army at 30, but obviously different population limit. That's gonna be a bit therefore misleading, as he mentioned, because you can see the kills aren't too horrible. Jack Frost and Love. No, Love is having actually a huge amount of kills. He maybe got a few to the right when he got the shifting sense there. But otherwise, wasn't doing too bad against Jack Frost. But at the same time, Jack Frost wasn't getting really beaten too much. So it's kind of like a different style of gameplay slightly. Usually though, you're gonna be just gonna seeing like the Egyptian being a bit more trash in the units. But this time he wasn't having too many barracks units. Which I was gonna going to mention at the end because of the Ragnarok. That you need to be getting ready with the Axeman there. He kind of wasn't, I think, in. So that Ragnarok maybe could have been having some chance against him. You can see he was only now... No, now he was getting ready for the barracks for the Axeman. Yeah. Could have been already too late, frankly, but... the game developed in a way that he wasn't. So, 430s, 520, 530. I mean, like the 530 from Metallo is a bit interesting. The one from Tunison, well, he was going for even the 30C in there. So from that we do understand the build. You can see Metal was a bit later in that. Not sure if maybe they were changing their mind as the game progressed, not sure. But again, they were just gonna play in some fun game. They weren't super try hard in some broken completely strategy. So they were having some good Brazilian fun here. Otherwise for the team games it's kind of normal to be having a bit later advances, and we have also had a certain specific set of civilizations here, especially with so many Thors. Everybody wanted to be going for the armory. Kamai touches, of course, otherwise not too many myth units. You can see only 4 Valkyries, for example, 3 Petsuchi, 3 Frost Giants, nothing too super high, 3 Priests. No, just kind of speaking about the lack of myth units here. It's a bit interesting. Usually Norse are gonna be having a lot more. But it also kind of depends, because if you're gonna be more raidy, then you usually do not entirely get as many hits if you're gonna be on the top level, and therefore you can't be entirely collecting the favor even if you have decent army. So you need to be having, of course, the engagements, and they don't need to be a thing until later. No, okay, great game, GG. Thank you all the players. So that's gonna be there for it for tonight. So we were having some great community games of all kinds of levels and different players. So thanks of course to everybody involved that we were able to cast and stream. It was pretty good fun. I hope you enjoyed as well. As we are, of course, if you are new here, every Wednesday in the evening we are streaming games and casting them from the community. No, and then we stream Monday, Thursday. Lately, it's usually some AoE 2. Not sure what's gonna be happening tomorrow. If there's gonna be some live match, probably so. Maybe Battle of Scandinavia 2 again, as you were doing the first match on Monday. It's not like the start of the tournament, but some content to do. No, and probably let's have a look onto some further castings. Seems like not too many streams today, as Culminati and Moose doing games. So therefore some POVs. Moose apparently playing some team game, it looks like, some 4v4. Then Axel Rose, BO5 versus Neo Institutional, not sure. He's having some friendly match. LFX Axel Rose, no, simply seems to be playing some competitive games probably. And then Sonic AOM seems to be having some preparation for some championship or whatnot, some cup. So probably competitive gameplay too. Yeah, seems to be playing 1v1. Sonic Cousinho. So, plenty of good games today. No, and for some of the players that we have watched today, some recommendations for them. So, obviously, Obito. And also thank you to Obito for suggesting the game between Borg and El Matador, and for the recorded game. Thank you very much for that. It was also an interesting one. Mowgli probably doesn't have stream, doesn't have anything linked, and I don't remember anything from... No, actually, I seem to be thinking that he did have some stream when I was having Athenian League games with him. But he doesn't have anything listed on AOM stats, unfortunately. Oh, he's having completely different nickname. But I can't recall which one at this point. But he probably doesn't have a stream actively. But he does have some not Mowgli nickname on Twitch. Right now it hit me, I remember. He was in chat here and there. Dr. Ash seems to be having some stream as well. I've been open here still. We were streaming in some game earlier against Craig Hack. I guess he can be there for with Craig Hack being from Deities of Death. Also listing Deities of Death channel. No, and the last game that was having millions of players with streams. Okay, so let me see if I can find all of them. So obviously Mosca. Then Twitch TV. Tunison. Twitch TV. Tundra here. Nino. Metalo. Okay, and the others. Metalo is having link. Okay, so that's good. Love BR doesn't have anything there. Jack Frost either. Kalan Bomb Debriga. And the last one, Nino. He does have a stream. But I'm guessing I'm gonna be having to find in the videos on Twitch. So having like a Nino underscore maybe. That's gonna be hard to find. Yeah, I don't know entirely what kind of nickname Nino has. Maybe I can be trying to see if he has on Wooble something maybe. Could be still having that. I can also remember his nickname though. Sudi Nino and stream. Does it still work? Is it still the same link? Nino _. Okay, good. So we can give all kinds of follows into these channels. If you're interested in some further Age of Mythology, they stream here and there. All of these. So not sure about Dr. Ash, but the others definitely do. So I'd be wanting to follow some high level or even other level gameplay. Obito is streaming also, for example, vanilla tournaments that were taking place some months ago, so you might be finding some good fun and good stuff there. SM Easy, who was also stopping by on the chat a bit earlier, he also is a streamer, so you can also give him a shout out here. No, and that's gonna be there for it, so thank you very much for stopping by. Who did? Nimonom, Obito, Spleon, and then also Asem and Katidengs, thank you for stopping by on the chat, and whoever else was maybe lurking around. Salarudin, thank you for the follow. And thank you to all the players that you're able to stream today. As he therefore mentioned all the names, then Tunison, then Nino, Mosca, Metalo, Love BR, Jack Frost, and from the others, Mowgli, for example. Who was he playing with the team game with? Louis Paul Brochate. That wasn't even custom, that was maybe a ranked game then. Yeah, it was. Mowgli, Louis Paul Brochate, and Gekolantis, that they were from Evoid Sports, and they were playing against the Sardinian Shepherd, Sectronomal, and Lisa Teach Me Japanese, so thank you very much to all the players there too. Okay, we're just gonna check in case somebody of them does have a stream linked, maybe. Sardinian Shepherd is having Czech flag. Maybe it's a Czech player, actually. What a random thing here to notice. And then we were having Borg with Nocturna Esports El Matador. Borg, of course, being from CAOK, so therefore Clan Age of Kings, same as Obito. Then we were also having Scream Warrior, he was playing with Honri. Thank you to them too. And Dudu the Spartan, of course. And he was playing, who was his opponent in the game? Mr. Drazil. Yes, Mr. Drazil from the Italian clan. And of course the last team game that was all Clan Bomb de Briga. The Brazilians. That might be kind of it. Probably maybe have forgotten somebody from the other games, so if I did, then sorry. But I definitely appreciate your games and watching you play. Gonna be looking maybe at Obito and his stuff for the team game. With Cabral, and they were playing against Egretman and MC. They have a Turkish clan, literally Turk clan that MC is from, so that was a whole Turkish team there. And maybe that's gonna be it. Also, we were having Craig Hack. So thank you to him as well. And he was having a game against Dr. Ash, yes, from the Legionaros Phoenix. Okay, so I guess that's gonna be there for it. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Blackadder at Blackadder's Plays. Hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow, not sure, maybe some Age of Empires 2 or something completely else. And Age of Mythology, of course, every Wednesday in the evening GMT. And thank you to all the players again. And thank you to whoever stopped by. So therefore on the chat, Katidengs, Asem, Nimonom, also Obito and Spleon. And thank you Salarudin for the follow and whoever was lurking around or maybe even watched from the past broadcast. Hope you enjoyed the games, especially the last one. Yeah, well, that was definitely the closest in a long time that we had. Closest to what we had on Wooble with the community games. It was pretty good fun, but even the previous games, because they always are, and there always is something interesting in practically any game that you are watching and that we are watching. So hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching, and see you later.